Hello there, everybody. Week 8 of the high school football season, and I was out at Center Grove and Lawrence North tonight. Center Grove pulls away, gets a 43-26 victory. Game was 26-22, though, with about 8:48 left in the game after Dantu Gardner Jr. had a 6-yard touchdown catch for Montez Jones, put Lawrence North ahead, and looked like it was going to be a battle down to the wire. But Center Grove takes it and goes 65 yards in 5 plays. And Matthew Yoder goes into the end zone, gets a touchdown, the go-ahead score. And then you're kind of thinking 7 minutes left. Lawrence North still plenty of time. The offense had been rolling pretty good up to that point, especially on the previous drive. Had converted 3 third downs, and including a 3rd and 28 on a 35-yard pass from Jones to Davion Chandler, who had a really good game for Lawrence North tonight. But Lawrence North fumbles a kickoff return. Center Grove gets it, and then scores again on the next possession. Noah Coy catches a 13-yard pass from Tyler Cherry, and that made it a 10-point game. At that point, it really felt like it was probably just about over with. Lawrence North had another chance, failed to convert a 4th down, 4th and 1, and Center Grove bleeds a little bit of clock, scores again, made it 43-26, and that was basically it from there. But, really good game. I thought Lawrence North showed, their speed really can hurt you. They got behind the defense quite a bit and made some plays. Like I said, Davion Chandler had a really good game. I think I had him for he had 2 touchdown catches. Gardner had one of the. I thought he had 3, but actually had 2. Those zeros and 8s sometimes get you on the jerseys from far away. But yeah, it was just I thought Center Grove really, when they had to really turn it on, they did. Coy and Cherry, of course, veterans, and the defense stepped up there late in the 4th quarter and got the job done. But Tyler Cherry ends up 16 for 23, 240 yards and 4 touchdowns. Coy had 61 yards, 5 receptions. Tristan Baxter had a 30-yard catch. Drake McClurg had 37 yards at 3 catches. Dominic Berry caught a touchdown pass, had 76 yards. But really, I thought crucial to this win was the running game. Matthew Yoder, 31 carries for 139. It wasn't a lot of long runs necessarily, but kind of pounded away, got 2 touchdowns late in the 4th quarter, and was especially big because Ryland Cook was out. They kind of share the running back duties, and Cook got hurt early in the game, I believe on either the first or second drive, went out for the game. And I talked to Yoder after the game. He said he wasn't sure, didn't know if Yoder was coming back or not. Kind of expected he would, and then it became clear he wasn't. So he ended up carrying 31 times, like I said, for 139. And, he's been a guy who's really come on. Eric Moore, talked about him being kind of an underrated, unsung player for the Trojans, and he's a guy who keeps getting better. So they're going to need him, especially if Cook is out for any significant time. With only 1 game left on the regular season schedule, they play Center Grove is at Cathedral, or plays Cathedral next week at Butler. So that big rivalry will be an interesting game definitely next week. But Center Grove wins it 43-26 again. Montez Jones played quarterback for Lawrence North, and talking to Pat Mallory, he said it did seem to be like the few times that the receivers got behind the defense, they had trouble tracking the ball or staying with it. So I don't know if that's something. I don't know why that happened. He wasn't sure why that happened necessarily either. But other than Chandler, there's a few times that their speed seemed to allow them to get behind the defense. Couldn't really track the ball that well. I don't know if it was the lights or what, but nonetheless, I thought Lawrence North showed some really good things. They weren't able to run Isaiah Moore very well, the young freshman who's having a great season. The Center Grove did a good job bottling him up. I think he only had about 11 yards rushing, but Moore did have 80 on the ground and a lot of scrambling. Making things happen. Gosh, he probably ran 300 yards with, side to side to get those 80. But, thought he definitely made some plays, 3 touchdown passes, 171 through the air for Jones tonight for Lawrence North. So, it'd be interesting. Cathedral plays Center Grove next week, but really Lawrence North is a team that could be seeing Cathedral down the road in the sectional. That really, I think, could be a really good matchup between those two teams. Probably the two favorites. You throw Lawrence Central in there too, which is capable on a given night. But we'll see where that sectional draw Sunday night. So we'll find out where those teams land and what happens there in the draw there and all around the area. Some of the other games tonight, it's kind of a late game tonight, so it was just wrapping up here, but got to take a look at some of the other scores. Danville beat Western Boone 21-7. Good win in the Sagamore Conference for Danville and kind of a defensive struggle. Westfield beats Fishers 28-14 tonight. That was another game we covered at IndyStar.com. You can look for these stories and all the roundups and photos, videos, and whatnot. Westfield led that game 13-7 at halftime and scores a couple touchdowns in the fourth quarter to hold off Fishers. So looked like Fisher's quarterback Bennett Gorek did not play in that game. So obviously that's a big loss. Hopefully they get him back. Brownsburg held off Noblesville, took a late score to beat Noblesville 27-22. So it was a night of kind of some close calls. Brownsburg beats Noblesville 27-22. Brownsburg ranked number 1 in Class 6A. Center Grove, I should have mentioned, they're ranked number 2 in 6A. So both those teams pushed pretty good. And then Ben Davis also ranked number 3 in 6A. 26-23 over Lawrence Central. So all three of those teams really pushed to the brink tonight in all those games. So interesting where, maybe this was a night. I thought this game here I was at would be sort of the closest of the bunch, but Noblesville and LC both are capable teams that can pull an upset, and they just about did tonight in both of those cases. So good win, good win for Ben Davis just to get that win. Franklin beat Greenwood 35-21. Greenwood, all 21 of their points came late, so they were down playing from behind most of the way there. Carmel beat Warren Central 17-14 in a game where you really didn't know what to expect with the way those seasons have gone for those two teams. But Carmel was down, and Warren Central has, for the most part, played really good defense all year. But Carmel was down 14-7 going into the fourth quarter. They get a touchdown from Christian Peterson to tie it on a pass, and then got a field goal to win it. So Carmel beats Warren Central. That old rivalry between those teams, always a good one. It always seems to be close games. So Carmel 17-14 over Warren. Cathedral beat Roncalli 42-0. Roncalli struggling on offense, obviously, in that one. And only 87 yards for Roncalli in that game against Cathedral. So that's a revival of a old rivalry between those teams. Jalen Bonds had 142 yards rushing in that game. Danny O'Neill, 84 on the ground. So most of the damage there on the ground. Whiteland pulled the upset over Plainfield. So you never know in the mid-state. It's always super wild. But Whiteland 22-8 beats Plainfield. I would not have expected Plainfield to only score 8 and also to give up 370 yards on the ground. Because Whiteland, that's how they get it done, and Darren Fisher's had them ready to play tonight. So good win in the mid-state for Whiteland, the defending champs there, and also the runner-up in state last year in 5A. So sort of a statement win. Tri-West beat Crawfordsville 41-0. Pendleton Heights 31-7 over Yorktown. Guerin Catholic 42-0 over Terre Haute North. Cecina beat Cardinal Ritter 41-28. Martinsville beat Mooresville. There's your mid-state craziness, 38-35. So pretty wild one there. And Mooresville looks like they trying to come back in that game. Martinsville led most of the way. There's actually 26-6 at halftime. So Mooresville battled back, couldn't quite come all the way back in that one. And a big game for Braden Shrake. Looked like had 205 rushing yards in that game. So a good win again for Martinsville tonight. Hamilton Heights stays undefeated. They gave up a touchdown though, so the scoreless streak is over. They had 5 in a row. They gave up a touchdown, but they do win 51-6 over South Bend, Washington. In that one. So Heritage Christian loses to South Putnam 26-19. And Avon gets a win. That's a big win for Avon, 20-17. Avon, that is, they won on a late field goal, 11 seconds left in that game to beat Zionsville 20-17. First win of the year for the Orioles in that one. Chittard beat Shortridge 42-6. Just rolling through some other scores here. Bloomington South, interesting game there. Beat Brebeuf 51-26. Like I mentioned, Brownsburg beat Noblesville 27-22. And Carmel beat Warren. Mentioned that one. Also, my game, Center Grove 43, Lawrence North 26. Christmas Addicts 48-6 over Washington. Sheridan loses to Eastern Greentown. That was a good game on the schedule tonight, 19-14. Eastern beats Sheridan. Decatur Central 14-7 over Perry Meridian. Eastern Hancock 26-14 winner over Shenandoah. Greenfield Central wins 28-9 over Delta. And rolling through some of these others, HSE wins 19-3 over Franklin Central. Sort of a defensive struggle there. LaPel beat Jay County 28-7. Lebanon 41-28 over Southmont. Lutheran 28-9 over Speedway. A little bit lower scoring than it's been for Lutheran, but they get the win again. The Saints undefeated. Monrovia beat Cascade 42-35. Mount Vernon 28-14 over Shelbyville. New Pal beats Newcastle 35-7. McCutcheon over Tech 44-7. Park Tudor wins 58-18 over South Newton. North Central loses to Pike. That was 34-15. Pike beats North Central. Purdue Poly 54-8 over Phelan Academy. And I think all these others I have mentioned. Tinley beat Crystal House 20-13. Triton Central over Beech Grove 31-6. And that should about do it. So, again, look forward to sectional draws Sunday, week 9, the last week of the high school season coming next week. And that should about do it. Again, 43-28 out here at Center Grove tonight. 43-26 over Lawrence North. Center Grove wins it. They play Cathedral next week. Should be a great game, great rivalry game between those two. That game will be played at Butler, and that will end the regular season. So be back here again, and thanks for tuning in here on the YouTube channel.